So, we all just watched Jupiter Ascending. Like I said, there's a lot of interesting pieces in there. I mean, some of it is just so blatantly um, the stuff that we've been talking about for years. Do you know what I mean? Like, just years and years, we've been talking about harvesting, about, I mean, literally harvesting, genetic experimentation. Obviously, you have all the whole transhumanist thing, the fact of, yeah, see, Deb, I don't know. See, I I'm still not sold on that whole thing of the Georgia Guidestones trying to kill off everyone on the planet. I'm not sold on that piece, especially over the last few months with little bits and pieces that we're seeing. Um, Life is consumption. Yes, Allison, and that was like that is that. We said the Rothschilds. I put it in the comments when he makes when that disgusting being, whatever his name was, the elder son, when he makes the comment, life is consumption. I was like, that is the. I said the Rothschilds narrative, but that narrative of them. Do you know what I mean? Like them. That there's no emotion. And if you notice that, like in all those characters that you saw, there's no emotion, there's no love, there's no caring, there's no empathy, there's no anything. Even two brothers and a sister, it's obviously that they can't stand each other. Do you know what I mean? I'll fix my camera. So, what did you guys think, though? Before I go on, I want to hear what. Similar to the Anunnaki story of the family. Then they're full on narcissists. Yeah. And psychopaths and sociopaths, right? Does it sound like anyone else we might know? Like, really? I mean, this is Jerry's got a point. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. Apparently, it's this time of night. Jerry said, what's to say that this story wasn't drawn from the narrative? Oh, fuck, everyone's chatting now. I'm losing the chat. Hold on here. Back up. What's to say that this story wasn't drawn from the narrative? The Wachowskis, albeit stranger, are our age relatively. No. That is the interesting point, though. That's what I found about this movie that was so interesting, is that it is completely drawn from that whole storyline, that the whole, like you say, the narrative. And it's drawn in a way that's kind of ties all, like, if you listen to it, and it's one of those movies you kind of have to watch it a couple of times, because when you do, you grab little pieces, subtleties that are said during the movie, you kind of start to pull them in. It does, and that's it, Deb. The story pulls from a couple of different narratives, and there's some subtlety things in it as well. It's not to say that the narrative's true, but the one piece of the narrative that kind of flips is exactly what was mentioned earlier, is the fact of right as soon as we stopped, someone said, well, okay, so why would they want to kill off millions of us? If this is the narrative, this is the story, why would they want to kill off millions of us if they want to harvest the planet, right? And that's where you get this kind of flip again. What do we see? We see a massive drop in conception. We're seeing there's zero population growth in most of the G20 countries, and some are in negative population growth right now. Like Japan is like minus 0.5% population growth. So it's interesting. It is really, really interesting. Oh, you guys are like the chat is just fucking going off, guys. Seriously.
I found it interesting that the mother hated her life. Remember at the end what he said?
Yeah, and all that's hinted at throughout the whole movie. Like each one of the siblings give a piece of that the mother didn't quite fit in. She'd already seen that it was a gross custom, a gross lifestyle, and
they're all seen to be liars too, shown to be liars.
Oh,
so you can't really trust that statement.
That's it. We don't know. I mean, that's it. They're all gross. Well,
I don't know.
Even the sister, though, we don't really see anything that's as blatant with the sister as you do with the younger and the older brothers.
Right.
There's still that. There's no empathy. There is no caring. There is. It's obvious that it's all business. Everything is business. Life doesn't matter except your own.
Yeah, and that was 14,000 years old. What's left to do?
And so I can think of a fuck of a lot of things left to do, like seriously. But that's the difference, and I always talk about the difference between what I call humans and what I call these non-humans. And I say these psychopaths that we have here on this planet in power, they're not human. As far as I'm concerned, they are not human. It's not that they're just psychopaths or they're MK Ultra'd or they've been trained from infancy. I just think that they're completely not. They're soulless, if you will. And I hate to use the word soul because it has so many religious connotations, but they don't have the capacity. And I think you see it in their eyes when you talk about things like your Hillary Clintons and your Rothschilds and all, name the whole fucking Tony Blairs and their Bushes. You can see they don't even have the capacity for empathy, for love, for care of anything other than self.
Hey, Danny, on that one, soulless is a kind of a half-assed religious term, I think. And I don't know the exact tradition that this comes from by name, but I recognize that distinction too, and I try to put it in terms of spiritless as opposed to soulless.
Yep, I agree. Nope, completely agree. Yep, spiritless is a better way of putting it, definitely.
Exactly. That's that connection beyond the matrix or beyond this construct. And if you'll accept it, I think you do, that distinction, then it gets us out of the word games that they have us twisting around playing their games again.
I agree.
Thank you.
No, I agree. And spiritless is a better way of saying it, I think. And to me, non-human. I'm sorry. Because I don't believe that anyone who's human, humans can be absolutely broken, and we can be possibly, mind controlled and things like that. But at the deeper level, human is human, and we feel and we love and we have empathy. I think that's a natural part of humanity, is that we actually have empathy.
Danny, do you remember when I told you that I listened to that one interview with the guy that said that he was the liaison between the tall whites and this planet, and
yep.
And the one thing out of all those hours of listening to that shit, the one thing that I took away from it was when the tall white looked at him as he was stroking a dog, like hanging out with a dog. And I'm paraphrasing here, but it basically said that was the one thing that set us apart from them, because in their eyes, if there was a lesser species, they would just get rid of them. They said that was the difference between us and them. The very thing, that empathy, that very ability to love something, I guess, in their eyes, lesser than. When in reality, that's ridiculous. But you know what I mean?
No, I get it. And this is it. And I think this movie illustrates that to such an extent. It kind of, it's the theatrical production that kind of really highlights that, because there can be no doubt that these, what did they call them? They didn't call them elites. They called them entitled. These entitled, all of the ones that you saw, they're just cold. gross.
Who put that? Those tall whites, they can't drink. Valiant fuckery. Who wrote that?
That was Jerry. Valiant fuckery. Tee hee 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 hee.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't believe those stories.
You know what? There's so many pieces, and it's all for us to sort through. You know, it's all for us to sort through. And I used to have a contact, and I've told you guys about him before, high up in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And he at one point when we were chatting, he said that he was based at one point. He'd never tell me exactly where he was based, but it was a very obvious, I guess, that he was in China, somewhere very near Tibet. And he was on a base that had very, very tall personnel with white hair, very, very tall. And so
there's a lot out about them. There's a lot.
The little bits and pieces that I collect. It's like, you know, this is why I always, you go back and forth with any narrative, right? On all of the narratives, not just any of them, all of them. And the whole thing about alien species coming here and all the rest of it, whether it's the Greys, it's the Whites, it's the, you fucking name one.
Anne says she saw 2 of them in Geneva one time.
Really, Anne?
Yeah, walking down the street.
Holy shitballs!
They were something else. They were wearing cashmere suits, and they were a good foot and a half taller than anybody else, and they were walking like mannequins.
Yeah.
They were moving mannequins. They were the creepiest things I've ever seen. Ew.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Actually, it's really interesting because my girlfriend Moosh, a couple of years ago, said she saw 2 people walk down the street in front of her guest house in Sliema.
Mm-hmm.
And she said one had lightish, like kind of nondescript, but lighter colored hair. And the other one had red hair. And she said the same thing. She says they were like 6.5, 7 foot tall. It was a man and a woman, and they looked really weird. And she says that the only reason she knew the woman was a woman was that whatever, was wearing feminine type clothing. Because they were both so androgynous looking. And she said it was one of those, and she'd just been off watching a movie that was a kind of alien based, and she walked out of her guest house literally 15 minutes later and went, okay, that's not human. There's no way that's human.
Hey, Jerry, I don't know if you know my background, but I've had Greys, reptilians, all of that in my house. So I've seen them. Now, I didn't ask to see them. I didn't know what the fuck these things were. So I came from the church environment, and as far as I was concerned, they were demons.
Hey, fucking get me the salt and call the fucking
Everything
That's
is
all I
demons.
knew. That's all I knew. I didn't know shit. I did not know. And I was in the middle of a horrible addiction.
Right, but were they really there, or were they just in your head?
Well, no. My animals responded to them. And you don't know my story, but
I don't.
if it wasn't for my animals, then I probably would have been carted off as a schizophrenic.
As so many do.
Yeah. but see, my animals would line up and they would protect me. I had one dog that just literally would attack these things. So it was at that point that I knew that I wasn't seeing any, what I was seeing was real, but I would not have known that if it had not been from all my animals, because I have lots of them.
Aspiring cat lady, are you?
Well,
no,
cat,
she rescues a lot of fucking animals now. I was talking to her yesterday. She's like, sorry, I got to go now. I got to go rescue a black kitten.
Hold on, let me show it to you. Hold on. Where is it?
My kitties are rescues too.
Hold on, I gotta find it.
Her kitties, her dogs. She rescues more animals and rehomes them than I like. She's crazy.
She picked
She's
up
the
a
crazy cat lady. And
she
dog
picked up
lady.
a black cat a couple of days ago. She says it's no bigger than the palm of her hand.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
know.
what I'm going after right now. I know that.
Where are you at, little baby? It's so little that I don't know. Where'd it go?
She's hiding from you. Here's the thing, though, that when you talk about this stuff, and the one thing in this movie I fucking loved is there's a line when There she is. Oh, look at that little face. Don't show it to Fred. Fred will be telling you to crack her up. And
y'all see this? I have to stimulate it for it to go to the bathroom, you guys. It can't even go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I need that sometimes. Can you come help me?
It took a big poop today. I was proud of it. Look at the baby. Does anybody want to help me name this one?
Scooter.
Scooter.
I already have a Batman, thanks to Dan.
I'd give her, hey, Dawn, I'd give her something unique. I'd try to come up with something unique. That would be me, though.
Call her Jupiter. There you go. In honor of the movie we watched tonight, just call her Jupiter.
It's not a girl, though. It's a boy.
Maybe she'll grow up to be huge.
Call him Whitey.
He has a pyramid on his, look, a pyramid. Like a pyramid.
Oh, my God, he does, too. That's just hysterical.
Illuminati cat.
Wide pyramid.
Illuminati cat.
That's funny. Yeah, I like Jupiter, though. I like that. That's kind of, that's a good one.
He's very, very little.
The movie.
Sweet. The line in the movie that I really, really liked is when, like, the whole skyline has been destroyed in Chicago. Why is it always Chicago, by the way? Because that has got to be symbolic of something.
Like the Earth's flattest up there, and you get the best view.
You think? I don't think so. No.
It has a really flat along the lake. You can get really good skyline shots.
I don't know. Chicago's always a city that gets destroyed by aliens.
There's a whole lot of stuff that's been going on in Chicago for a very long time.
That's what I say.
Not to mention, it was the slaughter capital of the United States way back in the day.
Still is.
Yep.
Really?
People.
Oh yeah.
People now cows them.
I had a very good friend of mine that grew up in Chicago when we were teenagers, and he would tell me about the Satanist stuff that was going on there. We were talking about this. Yeah, we were talking about that type of thing when we were youngins. So I started early.
And I grew up in Chicago. I've been only out of it for 20 years.
Yeah. It's one of those things I always laugh that everything happens in Chicago. Aliens invade the planet, it's Chicago, you know it. As a matter of fact, we now take bets in our family. If we're going to watch a new alien space science fiction type movie that takes place on Earth, we lay bets on the kitchen table of whether or not Chicago's going to get hit.
You can look at it from another way too. You know, there's a lot of creativity in Chicago, and these writers, like the Wachowskis, are from Chicago. So of course they're naturally going to be attracted to it because they know the nuances of the city. Not to mention Chicago offers a ton of incentives for filmmakers to come make movies. So,
I'm sure.
There are a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
I was gonna say real quick. You mentioned like Renee, like invade like a big city, and I was thinking mentioned I can't remember if someone mentioned Independence Day or not. It's the way my brain's working right now. Plus, I'm not on a lot of sleep. But it's like an Independence Day. I think was it New York City, and not Chicago.
It was New York City, and it was
all over the world actually, all over the world. But just made me think of the states here, America. So okay.
Yeah.
But they rarely attack D.C. though, right? Or the Vatican, or the City of London.
You never see them attack the Vatican. And can anyone think of any movie where you see the Vatican get blown up? Now, it could just be the fact of, let's face it, you can't really build a model of St. Peter's Square and blow it up. And I'm pretty sure the Vatican's not going to let you film.
Didn't Angels and Demons have Vatican explosions?
Did it?
I thought so.
It's been so many years since I've seen that. And so many years since I've read the book, too. I mean, I read the book like fucking...
In a day.
Yeah. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, is the line he says to her when she says, how can the people, thousands and thousands of people have just seen that, and they said they'll all be wiped. Like, like short-term memories like that are really, really easy. And the few that slip through, well, they'll just get ignored because they're just called crazy by everyone else. So that's one of those pieces in that how many of us have been called crazy because of the shit that we've talked about, right? We've talked about this shit, some of the shit that some of us have seen in our lives and the experiences that we've gone through. And the average Joe Blow just would call us completely crazy. Does it mean that didn't happen? No. I know what happened. I know the shit that I've seen. So,
hey D, hey guys,
yeah.
gonna say real quick, if anybody even looks at you like you're not seeing way, it's like I kind of think in my head when it comes to doing the right thing. I think it is a badge of honor. Fuck it.
Whatever. No one's gonna believe us anyway, so fuck it.
You're right, Danny. But when you've seen something, you've seen something, and when you go through these weird fucking experiences, and the average person would just think, you need to be on meds. In reality, you find out there's a whole nother reality going on around you, and this is their kind of way of keeping everybody silent about it. You see the big problem here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the programming. You've got to be, everyone is programmed to want to be normal. You want to fit in. You have to be fit in with, like, what's the expression? Keeping up with the Joneses, except that, Jupiter Jones, obviously, in the movie wasn't the average Joneses. But, so therefore, anyone who's not normal has been completely programmed that, well, that's just not normal, so.
Dee, you just said it right there, and it's kind of funny, but that is exactly right. It's the program. That's what we've been indoctrinated with all our lives. And despite all of that indoctrination, here we sit saying it doesn't fit. There's something wrong with it, and we've gone. I'll go further and say we've gone past that, and we're starting to focus in on what maybe it really is. We're at least to that point as a group, I would say. We're not sitting there, okay, here's the final word on it. And some know a lot about one area, and some know an awful lot about another area, but it's coming together. And the one thing we can agree on is that the program is not for us.
Yeah. Everyone's saying, I prefer not to be normal. Yeah, I kind of enjoy not being normal. I don't think I'd fit in with normal at the best of times anyway. I don't think I ever did, truth be told.
Let me tell you, I figured out, and you'll think this is brilliant, Danny. I figured out why. I don't know why it took 20 years of doing drugs for it just to open up on me one day. Okay, I cannot explain that. I won't try, but I will say this: when you hit the heavy using, like the everyday, like for me, I was smoking $150, $200 a day in crack. Okay, that's heavy duty. And I'd make it 2 to 3 days, and then I'd pass out. But it is interesting that when you're up during that time, they make all their changes and stuff when you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. So if you're up for a few days, you start seeing things. Now, they'll tell you that you're hallucinating. Yep. That's a bunch of shit. And I can tell you without a doubt, because I experienced this for a while, that all kinds of things are going on when people sleep. And this reality is shifting out. And when you don't sleep, it's like something gets backed up in this body too when you sleep. So when you're not getting those backups, you're seeing the shift out.
Have you seen the movie? Have someone help me? I believe it's called Dark City.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of tuning.
So let me tell you, this is
that movie is exactly what Dawn's talking about. That's what this movie is about. That every night when you go to sleep, it all shifts, and they completely change the narrative. They change the storyline. They move around families, like literally physically come in and move, like as if it's dolls in a dollhouse, and moves them in. You were like a blue-collared worker in a factory, but then the next day you're a doctor, a surgeon, and yeah, it is a freaky fucking movie. But Dawn, listen, I had a really good friend of mine who was heavy user. And he told me stories about that 20 years ago, because and he was a DJ as well. So he would do, like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night set and not sleep.
Yeah.
And he used to talk about the shit that he used to see. And he used to see all kinds of wild shit. And he tossed it off as, at the time, he tossed it off as being drugs. Is it just like, wow, I need to like have a couple of days sleep because I'm obviously now really off my rocker. So how many other people do that though? How many other people have been through that kind of shit? And you just toss it off as like, well, it's the drugs. You know,
No.
it's just the drugs, etc.
It's just your program ain't backing up on a daily basis, you know,
Yep.
and it's just, and then, you know, anybody that starts to kind of interact in this realm, they'll put you on pills to keep that from happening, you know. So it's, if you start to really kind of see it for what it is, it says a lot about us as beings. I think being able to wake up to who we are, even in a place like this, and what I call a free will zone where anything goes, basically. You know, I think it says a lot, but it also, you know, when you read the old stories of, you know, back in the indigenous times, when people of the tribe were like this, the shaman would pull them over because they had the gift.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think that you see such an inversion of that, and I have such a disdain for the, you know, I've been on every freaking pill known to man since I was in my 20s. I've been in 5 rehabs. They started me on lithium, and then I probably got a list of probably 15 meds over 20 years. And they would, every time I'd relapse, they'd change it or double it. And, I mean, I proved every one of them wrong. I stand here today without any of that, nothing but using cannabis to heal myself. And it just goes to show you everything they go through to keep people from knowing the truth.
No. Anything to keep people from knowing the truth. And we know that. And yet we watch little pieces like this. Little pieces that come out in the movies like this, and different TV shows, etc., etc.
It's profound.
Question. Yeah? And you know what? This is the thing. And Ann and I had a conversation yesterday, or this morning, or today. I don't remember anymore. Time is so fucking irrelevant. And one of the things that we were talking about is like nighttime. So this is day 2 for me of not sleeping. I haven't been able to sleep for 2 nights. And doesn't matter how exhausted I am. Both last night and the night before, I was completely exhausted when I went to bed. Could not sleep. And yet at the same time, you're in that space where you're just like so kind of out of it as well. And in our dream time, it seems that there's a fucking shitload of stuff going on. And
I've been tired lately, girl. I've been laying down every day taking a nap, and I don't know what's going on.
Yep, I wish I could have. Let me tell you, for the last 2 days, I've been wanting to lay down and have a nap, and I haven't had time to. So,
I just don't do that.
And Jerry, that's it. Just for me, I mean, I will usually when I do have a lay down, I don't necessarily lay down to sleep, because if I sleep too long during the day, it actually makes me worse. But if I lay down for 15, 20 minutes, it's usually all I need is. But the difference is now that I'll lay down, and the moment I lay down, it's like you're gone, you're out there, and you're getting all the visual stuff coming in. You know you're not dreaming because you literally, it's the middle of 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you just physically laid your head down on a pillow or sat down on a chair. Yeah, Penny, a loop from 2016. Yeah. 2013, and then 2015, and then 2016, and yeah.
Hey, I want to give a special shout out to Doppy. Love you, Doppy.
So.
Love you too, Dom.
Okay, Jerry, you just said that damn Philadelphia experiment. Yeah, I was down that rabbit hole just yesterday again. It just off on a tangent, and it had to do with one of the videos that I posted in the UnFuckers room in an article. And Asimov was brought up, and I went back to Asimov and Robert Heinlein working together during World War II and the Philadelphia shipyards and super secret stuff, and that brings up the Philadelphia experiment. So I'm giggling that you brought that back up again. It's like,
did you ever get a chance? Did you get a chance to listen to the Ross Ben Philadelphia experiment?
No, I haven't had a chance to listen to jack shit.
Okay. It's good when you get a
literally
chance.
Nothing. And this is Penny. You asked me like way back at the beginning of the movie if I've had a chance to watch the video that you sent me. It's still wound up and ready to go. I promised myself I was going to watch it this morning when I got up. It didn't happen. Tomorrow morning, I'll try to watch it tomorrow morning. But I still have it loaded up on my screen.
I was going to jump in real quick. Yeah, how many of you I wonder have actually done this? I've only done it very few times. Like you dreamt and you kind of knew you were dreaming, but you weren't in complete control of it. And next thing you know, you're like changing the shape of an object, like even something long, and you're literally just move, changing the shape of it, like energetically.
Yep.
I mean, that's the first one I've had in a long time. It's like kind of blew me away. I actually remembered it.
Yep. No, I've had some pretty bizarre fucking dreams lately. Very, very strange people showing up in my dreams. People, I was saying to Anne the other day, like I had someone show up in a dream, say Sunday, Saturday, so Friday night, and it's someone I worked with online, kind of, sort of, when I was doing the maternal and infant health stuff. But even then, we didn't work that closely, like, and yet she showed up in my dream and I knew exactly who it was. It was very bizarre. Very, 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 very bizarre.
How real was it?
It was very clear. Like when I came back, like when I got up in the morning, it was still very, very clear, like to the point of the texture. She had a shirt on and I touched the fabric of her shirt. And I said to Anne, I remember the fact of looking at the shirt, knowing what it should feel like, and then touching it, and it was the wrong texture for the fabric of the shirt. It was a complete wrong texture, and being kind of like, that's really fucking bizarre. Like, so it was that kind of clear, but I wouldn't call it. It wasn't one of those dreams where you're really unsure of whether you're awake or not. Those I have had a lot of those dreams recently too.
Hey, I also want to confirm that when they showed those beings, when they were translucent, okay? That's exactly how they come up. And the only reason I know this, again, is because of my dog. Because I was sitting in my bed, and I started seeing this thing walking around my bed, and all I could see was the outline of it. It was like a watery type of clear outline, and my wiener dog was all over it, running from one side of the bed to the next, just guarding me. And as I'm sitting there and watching this all go down, it's occurring to me that this is fucking real, right?
This is not a dream. This is actually happening.
My dog is pissed off, okay? And I'm just saying, so that's right on the money. Right on the money.
Yeah, I've heard it described. I've seen that before myself many years ago, and I've heard it described by so many people. When I saw that in the movie, that, like you say, they kind of phase out, and they're almost like you say, it's almost like water, because you can kind of see a distortion field around it. You can see kind of a vague outline. Yeah, but I've heard so many people describe that. So when I saw that in the movie, I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Some of the descriptive pieces in there. And I like, like I said, they've got like the flying dragon guys who are like, your Draco's kind of reminiscent type piece in it. Who are the dirty henchmen of the bad guys, And it's like, interesting.
Yeah, and what's funny is cats have balls of steel, right? My cats were not fazed by this shit one iota. Now, my dogs, on the other hand, didn't want any fucking part of it, except this little fucking wiener dog about this big, named Roscoe, who wasn't going to have it.
He was like, no way, not happening.
And thank God for him, because, one dog changes everything.
Y'all ought to meet Roscoe. He is something else.
I've seen Roscoe lots. He's adorable. Jerry just said cats are unentangled observers of this realm. You know what? I have said that for fucking years. For years, I've had so many cats that we've rescued over the years. And I've always said that it's like they're observers. They just sit there and watch everything.
They line
they're
up.
the perfect spies. They are the perfect spies.
They line up and they just look. They're watching. They're watching everything, man. And you'll know exactly where something's going down in your house by where they're all standing. They're all watching. That's how it goes.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find that link. Hold on. Give me one quick second.
You know, I got 6 of them, so it's pretty easy to spot.
Yeah. Yeah, you may have a couple of dogs there. Okay, Jerry, here's the link.
And, you know, Roscoe, the word Roscoe is slang for gun or like, you know, protector. So there is something to a name because he was my Roscoe.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I am really, really, well, hold on. I'm really, really tired. I'm going to have to say goodnight very, very soon because, wow, I am extremely tired. Time for me to hit the hay. It's 1:45 in the morning. Maybe tonight I'll actually sleep. Please.
We all wish that for you. And so it is.
And so it is. If only it was that easy. That's all I keep saying. If only it was that easy. Set the intent. I'm going to sleep well tonight. No, you're not.
She is going to sleep well tonight.
Yeah, Stephanie, Groot threw up just yesterday.
What?
Stephanie just said, is anyone else having problems with their dogs throwing up lately? Groot has thrown up probably about 3 or 4 times in the last month and a half. And it's not just him. My friend's dog, Sammy, he's thrown up like once a week for the last month. So I don't know. There's something going on.
I think it's mucus. I've noticed my dogs are puking a little bit too. But if you noticed, it's mucusy, or is it food?
No, it's food. It's just like, and sometimes it's like you can tell that it's something is off because, like, for example, he'll have dinner the night before, and I've woken up and he's freshly puked, and you can see that it's undigested. So it's been in his stomach for like 12 hours, 10 hours, and it's not digested. And then he's fine.
But see, this is what I think.
Is when dogs will eat their puke. I'm sorry to say, dogs eat their own vomit.
Cats too.
He won't do it.
Well, let me tell you what I think.
He walks away from it. It's like, ugh.
Okay, this is what I think is happening. What?
Who is that?
I think that's Doppy. Or no? Maybe not. That was weird.
I don't know. It may have been. It looked like it was saying Doppy, but Doppy, we couldn't hear you. You were completely broken up if that was you.
Okay, so let me tell you what I think it is. I've noticed my dogs are funny, or the mucus thing is a little heavier. And see, they don't know how to blow their nose, right? They have no clue. So they swallow that shit. So all of that shit ends up in their stomach, and when they eat, they want to puke it up with the food.
Yeah.
So I just think they're affected by all this spraying and all this shit, just like us.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. I've noticed my dachshund's doing it.
Yeah. And we've been all congested. Like, everyone I'm talking to has got, like, I keep getting that, and it's at night when all of a sudden I start losing my voice, and I can feel like you start getting cloggy through here.
Yeah.
It's delightful. Like just fucking delightful.
I live stepped up.
Yeah, well. Okay, darlings, I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm seriously fading really, really fast. Star, do you want to take over? And if anyone wants to hang out and chit chat for a little while longer,
I'll hold on for anybody else. It's like I hate it when you feel kind of tired. You're probably more tired than I am. You could be, and I'm tired.
It's like I say, it's 1 o'clock in the morning now, so I'm officially turned into a pumpkin. Or I'm wearing purple, so maybe it's a grape. I don't know.
Well, I enjoyed the movie, Danny. Thanks.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So we got to decide on a movie for next week. Now, the second movie that was in second place and for 2 weeks in a row was The Matrix. So I don't know. I'm going to redo the poll, or should I just leave the same one and everyone can go back and no, because everyone's already voted for.
How are we going to do that, Danny? Like three weeks in a row, or 6 hours, 7 hours? Actually, no, it's closer to 8 hours long.
I don't know.
Pick one.
Well, I mean, you have to watch Matrix 1 just because it's Matrix 1. And I mean, is there anyone here who hasn't seen The Matrix, really? I mean, really, there can't be anyone who hasn't seen it. Jerry, I can quote the entire movie from beginning to end. I know.
I'm sure I can, too. It's like Star Wars, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so maybe we should skip The Matrix. I mean, we've all really, 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 really seen it. It's been done. Although there's been a couple of lines that have come up in my memory just recently, in there that have seemingly very relevant yet again.
Well, we got Dark City. We got the Dark City. We got the Upside Down. What's the other one? That amusement park thing, Science Kid. Shit.
Tomorrowland.
Now that was good fun. I mean that it was a really, really fun movie, Tomorrowland. And same thing, kind of things about a dimension hidden within the world type thing again. Dark City's good. Dark City's dark. Dark City is dark. It's a mind fuck.
What about Constantine?
I love Constantine. I love that movie. It's one of the few roles that Keanu Reeves has done that I actually enjoyed.
Me too.
But I don't know. I think that's going to be probably farther down on the list.
Yeah, another one that we could think about is the one with Robin Williams, What Dreams May Come.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's another good one.
I think that movie has a lot of really good.
We already watched Inception 3 weeks ago, Jerry. Sorry, darling. Hold on. I can't. Star, can you mute Doppy's mic? Doppy's mic is doing a feedback thing. I'm not host anymore, so now I can't if I can do that. 13th Floor I haven't seen. No, John.
That's a good one. The 13th Floor is a good one.
What dreams may come? Seriously. JC, what are we going to do with you? There was In Time. That was the other one we're talking about. We're coming up again with the whole concept of time and time as being the ultimate, what do they call it? Commodity.
Most precious commodity.
The most precious commodity. And that's what the movie In Time is all about, too.
But isn't time fake?
Time's totally fake.
A false construct. So how could it be the most precious thing?
But it is within the construct, isn't it? It's all about perception. From within the construct. Yeah. Dogma. Oh my God. For fun, one day we should all sit down and watch Dogma, because I know a bunch of you guys haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure, Anne, you said you haven't seen Dogma yet.
That's a good one. Dogma is very, it's funny.
It's just funny. It's just fucking good fucking funny. Yeah, I've got a copy of Dogma somewhere around here as well. I've got it on one of my drives for sure. Yeah.
Have you seen
one of the boy band kids? Exactly what I said about In Time. It's a boy band kid. I can't remember what his name is.
Have you seen that ayahuasca movie?
Which one?
It's like a Western movie, and then you got this the guy who plays Bud in Kill Bill. he's the bad guy, and these guys go into an ayahuasca trip in the desert in America somewhere. It's a really nice movie.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know of it. What's the name of it?
Sounds like the Doors movie.
I don't know. I have to research it. I forgot the name.
It's not the whole.
Really
Hey, Doppy, did you say the guy that plays
Holy Mountain?
Bill and Kill Bill, like David Carradine, or Michael Madsen?
Yeah, Michael Madsen. He plays the bad guy, and then another younger actor. He's not that famous. It's really interesting. About shamanism, ayahuasca. It's quite an interesting movie, and also maybe Dogma, maybe a movie with everybody hasn't seen, because everybody saw the Matrix. So I suggest we do a movie hardly anybody has seen, which is really good and to do with something. Yeah. Or maybe I was thinking Ghost in the Shell, the animating.
Now, see, I've got
Ghost in the Shell, the animating one.
Yeah, I've got both of them. I've never seen the animated one. I've got it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. But I've seen the Scarlett Johansson one.
You should see the animated one. It's much better.
Oh, well, now maybe there we go. Maybe there's something like that. We'll have to see. I'll put the list up. One of the things I'm going to try and do is we've got what we're using for the UnFuckers library is we're just using a free account right now for them to have the cloud storage, and we can upgrade. And I think JC, I said to you that not the first level, but the second level was like $9.95 a month, but it gave it was like 200 gigabytes or 400 gigabytes or something like that. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind. Maybe we're gonna have to put out the money and do that, and so we can start putting. Because like I said, I've got fucking terabytes of movies, TV shows, and it was just a matter of literally just loading them up.
Yeah, you'll eat up. Videos eat up drive space like crazy.
Oh, I know.
You know how fast a 2 terabyte drive fills up. So.
Yep. I crunched one of them down. Sorry, Doc, say again?
It's called Blueberry, apparently.
It's called Blueberry. I've never even heard of it.
Neither have I.
Oh, Penny, we need a server. Yeah, and one day when we have lots of money, we will buy a server, and then we could just do all our own shit. But yeah. feralhosting.com, $10 a month for a terabyte. Okay.
Yeah, but is that encrypted and locked up tighter than Fort Knox? Because Mega is amazing.
That's what
it's a private hosted server. It's not a public access thing.
Huh. Well, I will have to. Let me see if I can grab the thing.
Yeah, toss me a link too, Dan.
I'm working on it. Everyone's typing, and every time I try to copy paste, it's fucking screen's jumping. Hold on.
Yours too. It's like maybe it wasn't my screen. Yeah, it's like I just noticed I had my scroll bar was way up. It's like 63 fucking messages. What the hell? I had to scroll back down.
Yeah, I do that regularly.
Yeah, admittedly,
hold on. Yeah. JC, I'm going to send it to you in our chat, your and I chat, because otherwise I'll fucking lose it. It's not even a question.
Yeah, no worries.
So take a look at that. Okay, right now I am going to bed. Really, really this time.
Nighty-night. Love you.
I love you guys. Mwah. And I will see you. Oh, by the way, I don't know if there's going to be a show on this Wednesday. I don't know. There is a chance that I may not be able to make it Wednesday night. So I will, once we get a little closer to Wednesday, I'll be able to let everyone know for sure. Okay? Okay. Good night, guys.
Sleep well. Love you.